I'm Tori. I'm a yoga instructor and a longtime student of yoga, and I love to share with you a chair yoga class specifically for your feet. So have a seat and take your shoes off if you have the room and the freedom to do so. Maybe even at least going down to socks would be nice to just give the feet some breathing room, literally. And once you're set up either on a mat or wherever your chair is, just make yourself comfortable, and for about a minute, we'll just settle in and ground. So it could be nice to feel your feet flat on the floor. Maybe close your eyes. You can rest your hands in your lap or the armrests of the chair if they have armrests. And take a few deep breaths. There's no agenda, but noticing what it feels like to breathe. If you're able to breathe through your nose, that can be nice just to slow the pace and warm the air. But of course, if you're stuffy, breathe through your mouth. And then shift your attention to your feet and get a sense of what they feel like. Are they stiff? Are they sore? Are they tired? Are they warm? Are they cold? Do they feel heavy? Do they feel light? Is there a vibration or a throbbing? Is there any pain? Maybe there's no feeling, it's just neutral. And then a little reminder that your feet are literally the foundation for your body. Maybe being thankful for the capacity to stand on your feet, to give yourself a sense of balance and support. And then if you'd like, you can join your hands together in front of your chest. Gesture of gratitude right here at the heart. Take one more breath in and let it out. Rub your hands together just to stimulate the senses, warm yourself up. You can cover your eyes if you like. Blink your eyes open and lower the hands back down. All right, so we'll begin with some movements for the feet. Gonna just pick them up and start to rotate. And of course, you're welcome to do this one at a time, but if you're able to, go ahead and circle both feet together. And then go the other way. Just noticing any sounds, if there's the snap, crackle, pops, joint music. It's not a bad thing, just becoming aware. And then start to point and flex, going back and forth. This can be as exaggerated as you like. Feel free to point the toes down to the ground or just kind of wave them lazily. And then go side to side, like a sideways wave. And then lastly, we're going to squeeze the toes into a fist like you could with your hands, and then spread the toes open just as you would your fingers. And you may not have the dexterity that your hands have, but just the effort to try kind of strengthens that brain-body connection. You might need to look at your feet to do this. Tell them to spread apart. See how wide you can stretch the pinky toe away from the big toe. And then set the feet back down and feel a difference already. There might be a warming, just a feeling of looseness or more flexibility in the feet, even a tingling or a vibration. All right, and then we're gonna scooch forward a little bit in the chair and open the legs wider apart if you have that room. Of course, if there's an armrest, you might need to negotiate a little bit. But we're going to place the hands on the thighs and go back to that pointing and flexing motion. So we'll lift the heels up, feel the calves engage, pushing the balls of the feet down into the ground, and then set the heels down. And just do this a few more times. If you wanted more weight to make this a bit more challenging, you could lean forward and use your arms to apply some pressure. Feel the arches of your feet lifting. Oftentimes, the arches flatten, especially depending on the shoes that we're wearing or how we distribute the weight in the feet. The arches can collapse collapse. So this is a nice exercise just to feel the arches rebounding away from the ground. Okay, and then we're gonna stretch one leg at a time forward. You can rest on the heel, place it down on the ground, spread the toes back, and then switch it up. So the opposite of pointing the foot, we're extending it back towards us. And just kicking out one foot at a time could be nice. If you all have the room, you can either stretch the legs in front of you or go to the side. I will, just for viewing purposes, and do both feet at the same time. So your knees could be bent, or you could extend the legs longer and just spread the toes back. And if that feels nice and you want to add on a little bit, you might lean forward and notice how that accentuates the stretch behind the ankle, the Achilles tendon, even up through the calves. Take one more breath. Good. And then place the feet back down. And we're going to march in place. So you can scooch again to the edge of the chair and feel the feet grounding down into the floor. Notice the heels and the balls of your feet, and see if you can evenly distribute the weight into the corners of the feet themselves. So the big toe mound, the pinky toe mound, and then the heel, or you might even separate the heel in half, the inner and the outer heel. Imagine you could plug the feet down into the ground like prongs going into a socket. Notice the arches rebounding away, and if you don't feel them, you could lift and spread your toes and notice how those build the arch again. And then replace the toes back down, and then begin to lift one foot up and replace it, connecting those 4 points or those prongs of the foot. And you might need to hold the chair or the armrest just to give yourself support so you can sit up tall without collapsing your chest. Does not matter how high the foot lifts, just getting the sense of almost walking in place, marching in place, and shifting the weight as if you would walking upright or standing. Now, if you wanted to challenge yourself, even though it's a foot class, you might stretch the opposite arm in front of you, reaching out a little bit robotically or like a puppet with the strings attached, lifting the limbs. You could also tease the brain and tap opposite hand to knee or to thigh, all the while noticing how the weight of your foot is making contact with the ground. Don't need to thud. Okay, and then if you wanted to give yourself more of a challenge for the legs, more of a stretch, you could extend the foot forward and stretch that leg out in front of you. So from a side view, it would look something like this. Kicking out through the heel, even spreading the toes to feel the sole of the foot stretch. Just a couple more breaths. And then settling the feet back down. Now, if you have the capacity, you can lift one foot up off the ground and just let it dangle. You can hold the front of the shin or maybe under the thigh. Might even give it a little bit of a shake. Let gravity do the work here. And then if the hips are open and willing, and we haven't really done much stretching for the hips, so be mindful of that. Can you cross the foot over the knee and allow the leg to relax to the point where you're able to access the sole and give yourself a bit of a massage. And I'm just using my thumbs like a tool and going up the middle from the heel, stroking upwards towards the ball of the foot. You could knead through this, take several strokes. You could spread the thumbs away from each other. You can even just apply some pressure and squeeze. You might take the opportunity to notice if you need a pedicure. It's another way of giving your feet some love. And then go across the ball of the foot, spreading it out as if you wanted to expand your shoe size. Give some care to the inner arch, right along the big toe side, the outer arch, the pinky toe side. And then even for the heel or the ankle, you can just massage and squeeze around. Whole foot, improving the circulation. Good, switch sides. So that other foot comes up, let it dangle. Can give it a bit of a shake, allow gravity to do some of the work here. And then crossing it over carefully, making sure you're not straining the knee or the hip. If you weren't able to do this for yourself, if you have a partner that you trust, that's willing, you could ask for a foot massage in this way or trade off. You can do this with socks on, but just having access to the skin, you get a bit more friction, more warming, and has the potential to influence the fascia, the connective tissue, on a deeper level. So I'm just going casually up from the heel towards the ball of the foot. You can spread outward, you can go across the ball of the foot itself, and there's an arch there as well. You can add some squeezing. And there's not really a rhyme or reason, you just do what feels good. Go through the inner arch, the big toe side, the pinky toe side, the outer arch, and then squeeze around the heel or the back of the ankle, like hugs for the foot with your hands. All right, and then set the feet back down and notice how you're impacting the ground. Has anything shifted? You might close your eyes for another moment, sensing into your feet, the toes, the heels, the sole, the arches. And then join your hands together back in front of your chest, your heart. Become aware of what's changed, what's stayed the same. Take one deep breath in and let it out. Might rub your hands together again just to signal the end of the practice. Feel free to cover your eyes or not, since we just touched our feet. Open your eyes and you're all set. Have a great day. Namaste.